Welcome back, friends. I'm going to try my darndest to break this slump and get a win today. Adjust my screen here a little bit. Get the black pieces. And already, um, most readies tend to transpose into uh, D4 openings. Um, so we're going to maybe look at a Grunfeld setup. Sometimes I get this mirror Catalan type of setup, but okay, he's going to go for an English more than a D4. So I've got the Neo Grunfeld, which I think is what I'll do. Not quite the typical Grunfeld positions because we don't have a pawn on D4 um, just yet. And he goes for E3, defending his pawn. Okay. Well, I don't want to take and just let him develop. Was planning on him taking anyway. So I will just bank on my bishop and proceed with my own plans. Now, if he moves the bishop, I get to take and I've gained a tempo. Okay. Now the idea is to take, and he has two defenders. So I can defend my pawn. And then if takes, maybe check. And block with the knight. Yeah, I'll defend with the pawn. Oh, okay. Now we do have a D4 opening. And I'm the one that's wasted the tempo because I'd like to push. I'd like to push C5 here instead of C4, C6. Um, that's all right. I'm going to get castled, not waste too much time. And here you can take and fortify, go up a pawn. No, I don't get to go up a pawn. No, I think he takes back. Um, got the queen looking at B7. Mhm. If queen C7 to protect B7, maybe he just castles and then has ideas of jumping the knight into 5. That's not the end of the world. Queen on c7, maybe taking in the middle. I take, he takes, I take, he takes. I lose a pawn there. Yeah, I lose a pawn if I take the queen off. Do I? No, yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So yes, I do lose a pawn if I take the queen off. So I go into the semi-Slav, or do I just take the pawn myself? Let's just take the pawn myself. And then bring the queen here to defend e7. Maybe I could think about b5. Maybe. First, I'm going to challenge the knight in the middle. Threatening to win a pawn. So he can defend with f4, or he could simply trade knights. Doesn't make sense to retreat. He just moved it there. So either he trades or he defends. And defending doesn't look bad. f4, knight takes, f takes, kicking the knight. Where does the knight go at that point? Dark square structure in the middle. Looks fairly solid. I guess I could swing my bishop around to attack the base. Bishop and knight to attack the base. So maybe there's a weakness there if he does that. Hmm. What is his other option? Take. Doesn't really gain much. Trades off an advanced piece for not a great piece, blocking in my bishop. Um, Pretty tempted to play f4 here if I'm him. There is always this, which I just saw. Um, he could trade. He wins the pawn. He just flat out wins the pawn. So I'm not going to trade the exchange for a pawn and a minor. Well, he's going to get a pawn and the exchange for a minor if I take. So much like that. And he retreats his knight. But here, attacking f and h pawns. He kicks. Then what? Come back and attack the bishop. He retreats, and I've got a half open file here. And I bring the knight. Yeah, how about this? Let's try this. Encourages him from castling because that's mate. So no castling until he kicks the knight. He kicks here. I don't think I want to take. Maybe I do. I don't really want to open up the rook. Here or here with the bishop. Do I attack it with the knight, maybe? Do I attack it? Do I bring my knight up towards the king side? I want to move the knight, certainly, so that I have the bishop on this, and then maybe I'm threatening to win a miner for two pawns. But I'm already pawned down, so it would be three pawns for the piece. In this way. See if I can invite him to extend in the middle, or extend on the king side, the middle of the king side. Casting queen side doesn't look terrible for him. So all of his pieces are over here protecting. That would be a nice cozy little hole. But if he doesn't free up space, the bishop's trapped. So bringing the knight back looks reasonable. Oh, no. Does this win a piece? Looks like it wins a piece. Maybe not. He can take the knight, and then he has this hidey hole here. But then I block, though, the queen's protection. So I think this does win a piece. opponent is from India. I think the only attempt is to take the knight and takes and try to hide the queen here or the bishop here, but then I interpose. No, that doesn't work. What am I thinking? Two pieces attack it, one piece defends it. It doesn't work. So this does keep the piece. Takes, takes, hide here, push the pawn. Oh, even that. Yeah, even that just kind of. Where are my thoughts today? Why am I thinking I'm winning pieces when I'm not? That worries me that my tactical vision has slipped a lot more than I anticipated. Okay, so where to go from here? I can take the bishop. Move the knight and open up the bishop on this undefended pawn. If I move the knight and he takes, I just take back. So that's a wash. My knight's over here. What does he do if I move the knight here? Does he castle? He could defend the pawn. Definitely a reasonable idea to defend his piece. Then I can reposition my knight here, defended by the rook. Attacking here, and the knight. The queen is also defending, so I have two defenders, two attackers. Let's do it. This effort doesn't work because I just take it. I just take with check, and I guess the king comes up to defend the knight because this is attacked by the rook and the queen here. But then I take here with check and win the rook. So perhaps, so this is just a no-go. That's a non-starter for white. What does he do? He defends his bishop. It looks like the best move. Just defend the pawn with the bishop. And then I do what? I bring my knight. And if knight takes, rook takes, bishop takes, queen takes, I'm down the exchange. So not so great. There's also bishop takes, queen takes, rook d8, d5, c takes d, knight takes d, and I don't like that much. So what's my knight doing over here now? You can kill this bishop as well and not invite his queen down here, leaving his bishop. I guess that looks less daunting than having a queen sitting there. And that does let me swing the rook over. So the rook and the bishop will be coordinating here. And if he does castle queenside, start marching my pawns. Pawn will be pinned, so this pawn is under attack. Move the queen away. He brings this knight in and attacks the undefended bishop. So the bishop comes right back. So maybe we just fortify this pawn. Yeah. Can't imagine him not planning his knight right here. Then I swing mine over, my rook over, and I've got two attackers. So knight here, rook AD8. Okay, he brings his knight back to defend. Not a bad choice. Let's centralize a rook and get a rook in the game. And now I can drop my bishop back if necessary and stay on the long diagonal. Um, Could come back here and offer the trade again. This is problematic because this is my only escape, and then he forks my two pieces. So why didn't I see that previously? I don't know. So do I let him have it? What do I do with that? So this is undefended. Maybe I come back with the knight. Invite this. Knight here. Bishop takes. Rook takes. Yeah, let's get our knight out of there. It's not undefended. This defends it, so I can't win it. It's not forced forward. Could be defended also. This feels like such a sloppy game. I'm not very pleased with my play in this, but if I get a win, I'll feel a lot better about it. Hmm. Got this check to consider as well, um, which I have not been looking at previously. I guess it wasn't there because the knight was here. So I do have a check now, but it looks simple enough to block it. He defends his pawn. He defends his pawn. Oh, wow. Okay. Knight back? Do I dance the knight right back and threaten to come in here? Um, no, because this is a problem once the knight is there. 3 minutes and 45 seconds. My position does not look great, friends, but no reason to panic. In the words of the great Ford prefect, don't panic. I think that was him at least. Maybe it was Arthur Dent or somebody else. Hmm. What about this knight maneuver? That kind of looks all right. And even if not there, here, if he pushes, let's go backwards with our knight, because why not? And now he clamps down and he gives me this, which I'll take. Ah, that's a lovely little fork. A lovely little fork. Oh, does he want the bishop? Is he thinking about taking that bishop? We're just leaving the knight planted there? That's, oh, okay. He is not going to do that. So swinging this knight up here now becomes the goal. Maybe here. Rarely have I seen an uglier position for black. They do exist, but I'm not pleased with this. Three minutes and 25 seconds for white, 2:44 for black. What is white's plan? Castling seems reasonable. There he goes. Castle. Just get your king out of there. So let's just continue with maneuvering plan for the knight. It's going to take over either d5 or e6. I'm not sure which yet. Ooh, okay. I don't know if that was necessary. I think that might have been a bit risky, opening up space. I'm going to really fortify my back rank. Not that I had any other choice, really, because every other square is attacked. And he wants to keep me out of here. Okay. Queen's attacking here. If I open the middle, he could push. I have two. He has two. I have three. He has two. So I take, and he takes. So maybe he just takes immediately. And could push this pawn with the knight's defense. That really starts to cramp my pieces. But I'm going to do it. Minute 13. I don't have time to mess around too much. That gives him this. I really should plan out my ideas a bit better. It gives me this. Queen up here as well. King here to defend looks like the only move. If I get my queen there. And Then the bishop dropping back to attack the queen and drive it out. He's going to get this knight here, and I'm going to drop this bishop back here. And that's going to be a very ugly piece. Oh, well, I guess I'm going to drop it back here to defend both pawns. Still an ugly piece, but not quite as ugly, I guess. At least here it's defending two pieces. I really thought he wanted to come here. And maybe he will yet. He can just remaneuver. Knight here. If he does remaneuver the knight, I don't want to hang this. But if he remaneuvers, and I get the knight here, bishop takes, rook takes. So knight here, threatening this. So bishop takes, rook takes. Knight here. It's also threatening this pawn. Under a minute. Also taking the bishop. Just going to defend it for now. Defend the pawn. An attack. He's not really threatening it because this is hanging. That's a move. That is a move that I should have anticipated. How about we come back here and attack the pawn? He defends with a rook, maybe. Or just brings the bishop back. But then I take, and then I win this pawn. Just bring our bishop back to do its job. Opponent's also under a minute now too, so we're going to be playing in a time scramble. This is where my blitz and bullet skills may help me, because my position's horrible, but there are chances to blunder this away for both of us. So okay. Let's drive that bishop away. Hangs his pawn, but I'd get a bishop. So now he can only really come back here. And then what? What's my plan? Defend my pawn? No, he's He's going to give me the piece for 2 pawns, which I will admit is risky on my part. Mm, this threatens the royal fork. Opponent is really crunching on time here. And he gave it to me. Ah, I did not deserve to win that game. I suspect White had a crushing position and well fought to my opponent. We're going to see what the eval says here, but I'm quite certain that, well, both played on like 1950s. So we played a very equal game. My opponent had one blunder. And as I suspected, the graph shows that White had a significant edge most of the game, and it fell off a cliff at the end. So my position was horrible, as I suspected, and I got lucky. Not the best chess strategy, but I don't think it was my opening that was the problem. Good here. Everything is equal. Dead zeros. This was my first mistake. It wanted me to push and fight for space, which I considered, but not really like seriously, I guess. I don't know. I did have tunnel vision here. I wanted my queen here to protect this and um, so I can move my bishop, and that was all unnecessary because if the pawn's here, it doesn't need protection. It has protection. So just a little bit of tunnel vision on my part. Also another erroneous move. Just develop or push the pawn, blunt this battery. Um, it ends up giving him a pawn, and I don't think I'm lost here. I'm down a pawn, but this move gives equality back. And I did think he should have pushed f4 there. That was what I was anticipating. He decided not to do that. Um, but that would have put me in a bit of a bind, uphill battle. And this was another mistake on my part. And from here, I don't think I really get much chance until the end. I should have pushed in the middle. I should have tried to break open the center. Takes, 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 takes. And I have space. I don't have this isolated pawn weakness. I have nice central control. And yeah, it's a playable position. But this move, trying to prepare this push, I didn't need to prepare it. Ends up with my knight over here, which I thought getting rid of this bishop was a decent idea. And then I got tunnel vision again, thinking I was going to trap this bishop. And obviously there is no trap there. He should have castled. That was the best move. That was also the best move. And another mistake. I should have pressed ahead. Because if the queen takes, that undefends the bishop. If the knight takes, Then what? Maybe I pin the knight? Hmm, maybe. Why do I push? Why is this a better move? What if knight takes? A5, kicking immediately, and knight C2 coming back. A4 wants me to just keep chopping pawns, but only the top move maintains equality for white. The edge slips to black with any other with the next best move. So it's a tricky position. Um, and this is just misery from here on out. I'm really under um, a cramped position, and 3.8 on the eval bar for white is crushing. Totally winning. Black's position is so cramped. Um, so yeah, this other idea of having an open position way back here. Where was it? Yeah, here. Instead of instead of that knight move, just pushing here. Just pushing here, and it wants it wants white to castle actually is best. Um, that's actually saying e5 is best now after a bit of thought. E5. I played e5. It's because I'm reading a black move. It wants white to play knight e2 and defend this. And 14 castling is the next best move. But even if takes, white still has a slight edge. But I felt like that was a more natural move, and I think my opponent may have. On down that route, this is a much easier position to play for black. I have open files against a king. I'm down a pawn, but I have a 3-on-2 queenside, and I have active pieces. So that's a much easier position to play than that cramped position I was playing. So, oh yeah, this is just misery, 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 and there really is no hope. I think white just has so many options, but I'm finding good moves, best moves. I guess they're pretty forced though. They're um, not hard moves to find because I don't have a whole lot of good options. Okay, he should not have taken there. It's not lost for white yet. White still has an edge, but giving me the bishop gives me play, and white still is up here. And it wants me to trade queens. Okay, that was a blunder, which gave me mate three. He didn't see mate in time pressure. Opponent's down to 19 seconds, and he made a blunder. So if what's his best move? He should have brought the knight back. That keeps my queen out, and it gives me the pawn. He just saw the immediate threat and reacted to the immediate threat. All right, friends. Well, it was a win. It wasn't the prettiest win, uh, but I'll take it. Like, share, subscribe, leave any comments if there were other moves that I missed, let me know about them, and I will see you in the future.